What's up, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to VEGA Conflict. I'm going to show off the Overseers and the way I've been dropping them like flies for under 4 hours repair time for about 5 to 8 of them. Just depends on which fleet I'm using. My main fleet can take out 7 to 8. The Dreadnought fleet is used at the end of the night when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I just literally run it along with the 2 wraiths right through the fleets. They can average going through anywhere between 3 to 5. But what I have in store for you today is the Overseer fleet. But before I get started with that, I actually want to talk about the special event, which is supposedly a catch-up event. And it's a horrible mistake, because I was on the forum and there's plenty of people that are complaining that it's too hard. And as I told somebody in private messages, first, the event is clearly a miss for lower levels because they're trying to catch up and get into the current tier, but the targets are meant for people with the technology already. And what I failed to even realize that somebody else pointed out to me in a private message is that I should have taken so much less repair time than I actually had in that level 110, and the fact that I took that much damage in that short time frame that I just literally no-brained my way through it. Any other player that's trying to get that technology and catch up to this point has no chance, and they pointed out that they're going to be using fittings such as what I had for my original Axis set, and that's exactly what you're going to be using. You're going to be using Axis ships because you're going to be stepping up into the Altairian tier, and even with a fully fitted elite fleet, you're going to be mangled fairly easily just because you don't have all the resistors, the health, the shielding, and everything that the Altairians already have. So even with a fitting of 3 shields, light armor, and focus on weaponry and damage, it's still going to cost you ships. And it occurred to me that they are right. That was a mistake on Kicksai's part for the event balancing. If it's meant for the lower tier players and for the players from the Axis tier to step up into the Altairian tier, the target's payouts needs to be greatly increased. They need to be more well balanced across the board, because if they're going to give them utterly rubbish payouts and repair times that make it so that they can only hit 1 to 2 targets a day to get a respectable amount of intel, then they really need to rethink their catch-up event, because it's not a catch-up event. It's a matter of choose one prize you want and stick with it. And even then you may not get the prize just because of the repair times, and the short time frame the event ran of only 2 days just limited every last aspect of what the players could do. There are still targets you can farm in it, and I'm going to actually take one of my paladins. Which one of you is fitted? Okay, you're fitted with... do I have a better one? Where's the other one? We'll just take that one out. I'm going to show you the easiest way to farm them if you have a paladin as well as a similar fitting to what I just had. But I'll bring you all back in just a second. Okay, that's the most interestingly weird thing that I've seen yet. The targets that I would typically attack when I was in my Axis tier aren't currently spawning for some reason, so... And I'm referring to the Blitz, because the Blitz are the best points payout, and they're just as easy as the 70. And that is the problem, because I didn't see a single one. So let's just go ahead and let me show you exactly what to do here. And you're going to have to swarm them one by one. And you're going to have to launch your fleet over and over, because you need to pick them apart one by one, but you want to close in and wait for... Wait. Almost messed up the destroyer setup. They're supposed to be towards the back to help. But the main point is you're going to need a carrier to do most of this, and the objective is just simply fly away from your opponent. And after certain ships close within range, just pick them apart. But your primary focus should be to destroy the 2 ships that are going to be the most dangerous to you. As you can see, it's been a very long time since the last time I used my Axis ships for anything, so naturally they're going to take a lot of repair time. But the point is still to use your carrier, fly away from the target, and literally just swarm certain ships into oblivion with nothing but certain damage type. In this case, use the carrier to pick them apart. But that was an extremely poor example to give due to the amount of repair time I took, because that could have been done for so much less had I actually just set my fleet up or gone in with a cruiser fleet, and that's what I should have done. Because when I was doing those fleets originally, when I was stepping up into the tier, I had a full Guardian cruiser fleet with the Paladin, and what I would do is I would more or less kite most of the targets, and I'd use the Guardians long range and just pick the targets apart very slowly using longer range weapons and just more or less kite the targets. Now that isn't all that easy, and I can actually see why people were struggling to do the targets, and people are saying the Vanguards were easier because you can kite them with the carrier fleet as well, and that was just the target I used. And if the Vanguards are easier, then by all means participate and take out the Vanguards over anything else. But the event, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's a complete and total mess for the people who are actually supposed to be the targeted player group that it's meant for. And as I said in private messages, once again, they truly should have taken their time to balance the targets, increase the points payout, and decrease the maximum points payout to be more level across the board so that it's more of an easy step up, so it's not, as someone else pointed out, you go from a 90 dropping, what was it, 350,000 intel to a 100 or 110 dropping over 1 million intel. But the damage increases isn't all that much in comparison. Actually, no, it is a great increase, and you would most likely be wiped out. And the 110s are the only ones you're going to be able to really earn intel from easily if you lose. But even then, it's not worth you guys playing it. Wait until a different event comes up, get your Axis fleets built up, play the crafting events, play your daily strikes and things like that. Don't even bother whenever a special event comes up, because over the past I've seen a few of them and they've been, in my eyes, utter garbage, because if the player base is supposed to use top tier content for an event that is to catch up and use old content to be able to get to the new content, it's a mistake and should never have happened. So don't even bother finishing playing the event. Take on the strikes and the crafting event as well, because the crafting event is the easiest one, and from the Axis and above you're getting guaranteed parts to be able to craft your ships. You need 5 Mark II boxes to make a Mark II. 10 or less, well 9 or less, or around 9, Mark III boxes. 13 or more Mark IVs, and about 18 Mark Vs to be able to build the Mark V. So if you get stuck and you can't participate in higher tier events that are supposedly meant for you, even though you're in the tier that they're supposed to be targeting, just don't bother doing the event. Focus on mark upgrading your ships to Mark V, getting them all the additional weaponry, weight, and stuff like that that they need, and then participate. Now, I said I was going to take out some of the Overseer targets, and I will. I'm going to show you how I've been taking the Overseer 110s out so far. Now, the development team has a lot to learn in terms of balancing their targets, but some targets could be worse and some could be better. Well, some could be a lot better. The initial group is easy. You just kite them with the Sovereign Carrier, as you can see. Again, all Cyclotron Beam, level 1s. You can acquire them in the current special event if you can actually do the event and collect the necessary resources. And I say resources in terms that you actually need quite a bit to produce just one sovereign. And again, there are no Altairian time tokens or anything like that in the event, so... Or were there? I don't believe there were. I'll have to take a look after this fight. But so far, again, what I've seen from the event, for the special catch-up event, I don't know what they were thinking. It doesn't seem to be a catch-up event because the technological requirements for the players to be able to hit the targets that are in the event they're well above what they should be. That's the best way that it could be put. They're well above what they should be. And this isn't the actual Dreadnought video I was going to show you, where it's actually my Dreadnought versus the fleet, because it actually does work with a few wraiths to soak up damage. And the objective is just to take free repair time on most, if not all, of the ships in your fleet, with the exception of the Wraith. You want it to soak up all the damage, because that's going to be your timer for when you log out. Because the current repair time of mine when it's fully destroyed is around 4 hours. So I can log in once every 4 hours effectively and say, this is what I want to do, so I need to be doing this. And due to how slow the projectile weapons are on board the little ships here, you don't have to worry too much about them hitting you, because as you can see, you just simply float out of the way. Even the carrier can do it. Okay. And typically I take only around 20 minutes of repair time or 30 minutes of repair time on the Wraith, but that looked like I took a little bit more because I wasn't paying attention as much as to where it was sitting. But the initial setup is, in the combat, you want to have the Wraith block their Dreadnought, so literally have it out in front, so it'll be the closest target, so it'll be the ship that's targeted by theirs, and it's more or less just to block it. And just go through, free repair your ships and stuff like that, and you'll be good. But as I said, everything typically has free repair time, with the exception of this one. It typically takes around 30 minutes repair time, so that was almost where it normally is at. But that was the Overseer 110 for the Mark II boxes. And again, the longer your Wraith lasts in the fights, the more you can farm, because the rest of your fleet, as long as you don't take too much splash damage or anything like that, you'll have free repair time the entire time for every other ship, and again, you use your race as your timer. You decide how long you want to play based on how your race works. So the longer your race can last, the longer you play for, and then you log out for a few hours while it repairs. And since it's the only ship majorly repairing, that's fine. But that's going to be it, everybody. So far, how has the event been going for all of you? The catch-up event. Have you been able to get anything that I recommended or anything that you've been after for a while now? Second, somebody brought this up and pointed out in the comments section that they wish that the shells were available in the event, and they're not. And I didn't even realize that to begin with, because it's all weapons and stuff like that for the ships, but there isn't a single shell in there. And okay, now I see now there are no time tokens. So again, it's a catch-up event, even though their armor isn't even in here, so you're not getting the armor or the shells. And I wouldn't mind a few credit shells myself, because I have a few changes I need to make to the Sovereign that I have. But right now, my primary goal is simply to farm up for the Behemoth so I can get it started with its 1 day whatever build time. But that's going to be it, everybody. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, everybody, be safe out there in the void, and I'll see you real soon.